Hey guys, StarCraft here. Well, those of you following my Twitter know I'm reviewing, but those of you who don't, I've got something big. I never thought I would actually get a review copy of anything, much less what I'm about to review. But here it is. I got a review copy of Mike Miller's Indiegogo project, Lonestar, Heart of the Hero, part of his Blacklist universe. Guys, seriously, I am just so honored. I backed this book, so I'm going to be getting an actual physical copy. I'll prove it. Trust me, I can prove it. And I am just so excited to be able to review this. I've looked through it already. It is very good. Very, very good. I just really, really enjoyed it. I have some gripes with it, I openly admit, but nothing that makes me regret backing it. Well, let's waste no time and dive right in. Let's look at the cover first. I admit, when I backed it, I got the other cover with him charging at the readers. But this one is very good, and actually more than people saw it from the previews we were given, shows us what happens in the story. And Lonestar looks like a badass, a major badass. We open up with Lonestar in his costume and gear, looking down the city, and I love the narration. I'm always hit and miss when it comes to an artist becoming and doing the writing duty, but Mike Miller actually does pretty well, especially this opening monologue. I remember the world a little cleaner than most. The air is different now, thicker, full of a seething, misdirected discontent, anger, resentment, entitlement. It's a world of spoiled children, raised by spoiled children, and raising little spoiled children of their own. It's getting harder and harder to tell the good guys from the bad. What we later find out about Lonestar, that line actually makes sense. And he's even his dialogue even goes further as he speaks. But in the sea of miscreant, no, I don't think that's right. Is it miscreants? Okay, very old-fashioned, but again, we'll get to that. But and then we find out he's talking to a pigeon. Is it that better than talking to a gargoyle? I don't know, but I find it cute. Anyway, his spider sense, some type of extra sense that he has, goes off, and he senses fear. He then leaps into action, jumping across from a rooftop until he reaches what appears to be a woman being attacked by, what's that gang again? I'll look it up and put the words in, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That one gang, and it looks like they're about to do all sorts of terrible things to this woman. But then Lonestar shows up and is ready to fight them all, and he does so, dismantling them one by one, even taking their gun and shooting many of them in the kneecaps, leaving just the one guy holding the woman with a knife at her throat. But then he makes it very clear, have I killed any of your friends? No, I don't kill unless I have no choice. So basically the guy in this punk named Ice thinks, yeah, well, okay, Derby Copper, I let her go, you're not gonna kill me. But instead, he's not gonna kill him, but he's not going to just turn him in easily. He then breaks his hands at the wrist and then breaks his arms at the elbows. Damn! Wow! That is just... I saw that in the previews, but still, that always gets me both wincing and yet fist pumping. He then looks to the woman who's ready to shoot the guy. But Lonestar stops her. Why? Because it's not self-defense what she's doing. It's murder. Which, again, I like that old traditional, old-fashioned standard of, yeah, beating the guy up. Okay, sometimes it's going too far, and I admit, in one's mind, one could think Lonestar went a little too far. But at the same time, though, there's a difference between beating up a person and to make a point and shooting them dead right afterwards. That's no justice in that at all. Anyway, Lonestar runs off, and then he makes it back home, where we find out his name is Robert Miller, and he's from 1941? Geez, no wonder his views are so old-fashioned. He's from that long in the past. And then we're followed by, going in chronological order, Brando, Elijah Cromwell, believed killed in action in 1952. Then there's Pastor, Jim Powers, believed killed in action in Cambodia, 1973. Then there's, oops, I got that a little backwards. You have Killjoy, Donald and Howell, killed in action, Vietnam, 1972. My bad. Then you have Scout, Locke Skinner, believed killed in action in Beirut, 1983. And what looks to be the newest and the youngest member of the group, Hothead, Eric Escobar, believed killed in action, Afghanistan, 2008. He shows back, and basically they are interacting. And it shows right here that there's a bit of a camaraderie, if not a little tension between, at the very least, Hothead and some of the others. But for the most part, it is still a very good introduction to their powers and everything else. For example, Hothead, he has basically a heated touch. Then you have Killjoy, who can basically shapeshift. And he uses it to mock Lonestar. Then we have Brando talking, and what for a moment looks like Pastor standing up and mocking him and going on. You know how to make God laugh. Make a plan. Make a plan. Ha. But if you look carefully in the artwork, you can still see that Pastor is still sitting down. Clearly this is Killjoy, which in the next battle, sure enough, it was, as he's telling Pastor tells Killjoy, knock it off. Then Lonestar heads off to bed and going to go take a nap. But as he does, he has a dream. My guess is he dreams about something happening in his past. We don't really get much of the context in this. But either way, he's up and he's heading out. Basically going out for a usual routine. Pastor reminds him briefings at 400. He says he'll be there. We then cut to a diner as we find out what he usually does every night. He comes to the same restaurant, meets up with this young waitress, and orders coffee, and as she puts it, gawks at him. But given his old-fashioned values, he doesn't look at it as gawking. He looks at it more as, well, just being a normal guy. She finds him completely unbelievable, and turns out they've been doing this for just meeting up for 6 months. Which I like how she says, happy anniversary. Then she asks him to walk her home, and he does so. Goes on and she talks a bit about herself, and we then meet up with this old homeless guy who looks like he's about to grab her. But he is coming off as, can I borrow $1? Which, since Bobby's there, he then offers him a gift card for some food. The guy and the homeless man is appreciative and leaves. Once they get to, I didn't even mention her name yet. Angel. Her name is Angel. Once he gets her home, she then decides to, because it's their 6 months anniversary, give him a kiss on the cheek. But as she walks in, we see the homeless man drop the gift card, indicating something else is going to be going on. Anyway, he makes it back home in time for their briefing, and Killjoy turns into Jessica Rabbit, mocking him as basically saying, "Did you get a little action last night and tonight?" And of course, Lonestar. I'm sticking to Lonestar. My name's Robert, so I think I'll just stick to Lonestar. And Lonestar is all being bashful at everything. Then Hothead decides to mock him, and Lonestar decks him, as it looks like the two are about to fight. But then Brando uses his powers, it looks like, of telepathy or mood manipulation. I still haven't figured that out yet, to calm everyone down, which actually is a very useful skill if you ask me. We then meet up with their command, Dr. Livingston, I presume. Sorry, couldn't resist. He's explaining their mission, and basically we find out that the whole action, what they usually do, is hunt down fight and kill all type of mythical creatures, lichen, vampires, things like that. And he reminds them of what happened to a former member of theirs, Stalker, which apparently he does this often. And then it looks like they're about to go out for a drive. Lone Star says, "I call shotgun." Brando then does the Jedi trick of convincing him, "You don't want to go and want shotgun. You want to sit in the back." Pastor, who is the driver, asks him, "You've never used that on me, have you?" "Would I do?" To which Brando says, "Would I do that to you, Pastor?" That's not an answer. As they're heading off, Pastor gives him a prayer, which I like. I've heard of soldiers doing stuff like that before, and it is very, very touching and heartwarming to see them still do that as they all prepare to go in, in case something bad happens. They then go on in, and as they do, we find out Pastor's powers seems to be able to see through walls, but in this case he can't because the door is way too dense. And they are able to get through. They do find a door to get through, and when they do, they find a little girl who happens to be a vampire. Yikes! Mike Miller went there, and it's pretty scary. Hothead just going on the fly shoots her. Right, and look at how happy she looks right before she gets shot. It's like, "I'm going to eat you up." Yeah, this triggers something in Lone Star as he's remembering something. Not exactly sure what, but he's holding, I think, a friend of his. We don't get any information, but for what it looks like, it's a traumatizing moment. And then, but then it turns out that gunshot causes a whole bunch of other vampires to come charging in. We then cut to another day and place where a young boy is climbing up and comes across someone named Joaquin Gunther. Looks like a lumberjack, and he's okay. Again, sorry, couldn't resist. And then the boy comes up to him saying, "Your exile is at an end. The Lord has need of you." And that's all we get there. No, seriously, we don't find out what any of this means. Probably won't be till the next volume. Back to the guy, they're all shooting at the vampires, trying to take them all down as they're coming in for attack. One of them, the leader of the group, comes charging in and attacking him, mocking him, saying, "You come to here with these toys attacking my family?" Well, Lone Star, he's ready for him with his knives. Of course, the vampires mocking him about how humans are so arrogant. Lone Star doesn't have time for that as they continue on talking, and the guy keep on fighting, and the guy keeps on talking, even bringing up how they just killed a child, basically asking him, "Who's the monster here?" And then the guy takes a bit of metal. I forgot what those things are called. Sorry. And he's about ready to stab Lone Star. Lone Star, in a very good action moment, kicks him in the leg and then takes him down and takes the rebarb. That's what it is. Rebarb. Takes it and stabs it right through the vampire. I'm not sure if Mike Miller was intending to homage Bullseye stabbing Elektra, but it feels a bit like it, and it's good. He then taunts the guy, basically saying, "I know this and that this is going to kill an all-purpose monster ally, but it's still enough that you can't heal very quickly when you're being cut by iron," ready to take him apart. But then Brando is being attacked by more vampires and Lone Star charges in to try and help him. Brando gets his head ripped right off. Oh man. And then Lone Star and everyone else takes down the rest of them. Eventually, Hothead then makes a bit of a stupid remark, basically insulting the guy and making fun of Brando now that he's dead. And Lone Star, he isn't taking any of it as he kicks Hothead right in the gut, basically acting like he has no respect whatsoever, that it was his fault that it led to this. And Pastor tries to calm Lone Star down, and Hothead is basically acting like, "Hey, you think I don't know? You really think I don't know? You are and I have more feelings, I know how to live than you do. I actually like this, with Lone Star being the oldest and Hothead being the youngest. It actually shows the two different mindsets of a soldier. You have Lone Star, the kind of guy who feels like the selfless type of being a hero, doing it what needs to be done, but having lines he won't cross, and being cool, calm, and collected, but at the same time feeling like, I don't want to get a woman I care for who could get hurt in any danger. Whereas Hothead is the type of guy who believes that, hey, shit happens. I get it, but I would still make and do stuff with a girl if I really loved her. And at the same time, yeah, he's dead. If we're gonna either dwell in it or we're gonna dwell in it and let it eat us up, or we keep moving on. I really, really like that. Then we find out Scout's ability is teleportation, probably by one person, as he then takes Brando's body, teleports away. Then Hothead starts disintegrating all of the vampires. And Lone Star decides he's going to head out since they seem to have got this, and Pastor tells him to go on ahead. We then cut and meet up with Angel and her roommate Denise, and Angel is just going on and on about Lone Star. And Denise, we'll get to a bit more with Denise in a moment. Lone Star, is being the gentleman that he is waiting outside with a bouquet of flowers and I'm guessing chocolates, mentioning how he didn't want to ring the bell and he didn't know which room and which apartment was hers, so he just waited. Denise is cynical of him, thinking that he's her stalker, among other things, and he mentions it for where he's from, it's called courting. Yeah, Denise is one of those types who feels like chivalry never existed, and that, yeah, a person, he must have creepy intentions. When she asks him where you're from, he then admits he's from Texas. She starts immediately going for asking, did you vote for Trump? But Angel stops her right there as they start walking. Lone Star keeps on making other comments, and Angel is clearly taken with him. She loves him, and really loves him. Denise, though, again, is just way too much of a cynic. As he's going, and then is brought up about what does he do. He tries to keep it a secret, and then eventually Denise thinks, oh, this guy is with the government. He's a stooge. Walk away. He doesn't care about you. He's a misogynist. And Denise just grabs Angel and storms away, basically saying, we're not, no buts. I'm going to find you someone that sees you as an equal. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to probably, and out there, we're going to look at this scene and think, oh, look at this. This is what he thinks. But what I like is that Mike Miller makes it feel like a real scene that would actually happen today. There are women out there like Denise that would do that, and women out there like Angel who such thoughts wouldn't cross their mind. And I really love that. It is so well handled. We then see the guy from the vampire guy out in the shadows. It's meeting up with this one person who's handing out flyers. Yeah, this guy is part of the resistance movement. Those Antifa types or those other types, those far leftist groups thinking like, oh, we're going to do all this protesting. He invites the guy over. Don't think we got a name for this fella at all. If I missed it, I'm sorry. If I did, I'll put it right here. But I'm just thinking with the vampire guy. As Lone Star, and we see Lone Star also walking away a bit dejected as he kicks the can. Of course he does. We then find out that their leader, Barney, his dad owns the place. And inside, Barney's going on and on, basically saying, we are here at the dawn of a new age. Capitalism has failed. But then he also starts pointing out a bit of the hypocrisy, basically saying, as you may know, my father is part of the 1%. But it's okay, because he could use it, and because he believes in our cause, has agreed to pay our legal fees. Yada, yada, yada. As he's going on and on and on. And even Barney's saying, so if you feel the need to get violent, don't let being arrested or sued concern you. But the vampire guy stands right up and basically says, and your cause is just, but your leadership is lacking. And he starts talking, and we actually get a name. Svargog, he comes from Mother Russia. He actually knows what true communism is about. As he then starts to take over, obviously using his vampiric nature to start to control everyone. As he starts telling them all that Stalin lost his way. His dream of an egalitarian world was a noble one. It was pure. For true equality is not easy to achieve. Obviously implying that everyone being a vampire would be true equality. But as they do, as he keeps talking, he soon brings them all under his sway. We then cut back to Angel as she's leaving for the night. Turns out Lonestar didn't show up at all. She's talking with her boss and basically mentions how Denise was mean to him. But her boss then reminds her that doesn't sound like what Lonestar would do. Again, they go by his real name, but again, I know they're going by his real name, but I'm just sticking to the code name. It comes off a bit easier for me. Anyway, like I said, her boss tells him she doesn't seem like the type to be scared and to scare someone like Lonestar away. So Angel leaves, meets up with that homeless guy again, thinking nothing of him as she walks past. He follows her, then grabs her, ready to do something to her, even asking, "Where's your boyfriend now, beautiful?" Lonestar comes in and just decks the guy. He then helps her up, and trying to keep the whole hero side going, he's calling her ma'am, saying, "Ma'am, did he hurt you? Are you okay?" But then calls her by her name, Angel, revealing that who he is. And then she just starts bawling on him, upset about what almost happened. But then she realizes he's Lonestar. He tries to put up an act, but he's a terrible liar. She then basically is all like, "This was your job? Why, you can tell me that?" But him, still being the way he is telling her, "I can't. It wouldn't work out. And I have to go. Someone needs me." But then she says, "I need you." And then his little words are, "My name is Lonestar. I'm not a hero. I'm just doing what has to be done, even when it hurts." That is gold. We then go back to Svarg as he's meeting up with everyone. They bring in what weapons they can, and clearly none of these guys have guns at home because all they bring are blades and knives and pitchforks. Okay, they don't can afford a home, but what places that these people seem to be part of would have an actual pitchfork? Anyway, and he's chastising them all, but then one guy points out we could use the dark web to buy anything there. Obviously, this is the first time Svarg has done anything outside of his usual gather up a family, because he is intrigued by it. As he asks, "The dark web? I like the sound of that." And that's where we end our story. But not the complete book. For you see, there is a preview for for another story that Mike Miller is doing. He's not writing it and drawing it, but he is writing it. The Atomic Family. Just to summarize, it's a superhero family team with atomic-like powers. And they're fighting a blobby monster. It's nice, it's short, but it really gets things teasing. After that, we get a long list of everyone who contributed. Now, where am I? Okay, nope. Oh, hey, Ethan. No. Okay, where am I? Oh, it's in alphabetical order. Duh. Okay, and aha! There I am. See? Told you I backed it. We then get a sketch art of the cover for the next book, and then the back cover, or back inside cover, I'm not sure, reminding us how much Mike Miller really appreciates helping the armed services. And that's it. That's the opening of Lonestar, and it's very good. What was my one issue with it? I felt even though we had Lonestar, it made it seem like this was going to be a big superhero-like story. But we got more of the militaristic side of things underground. Not that there's anything wrong. It was still well handled, but it's not what I was expecting. at all. Again, I'm not saying that was a bad thing. And like I said, I don't regret backing this whole thing. But it still kind of put me off a little. I still highly recommend it. Other than that, it is good. The artwork is great. The writing felt very well handled. I don't know if this is Mike Miller's first time writing, but it is. So I've seen other writer artists who aren't always a great or go too much into the purple proses, like, well, Frank Miller, for example. But for Mike, very good. Highly recommended. Go ahead and get it. 9 out of 10 is what I give this. That's the end of this review. I really appreciate being able to get this review copy, and see you all next time.